Our today's guest is ZX. He is the lead of CryptoEconLab Ecosystem Collabs. For sure, we learned where he is coming from, what brought him to blockchain. We talked about his career, what he is doing in his professional life. That is a 24/7 workaholic. That's what I learned as well. On the other hand, for the first time ever, we get a message to the audience. So listen to the talk. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Coffee from the Block from the House of Blockchain in Liechtenstein. My guest today is ZX. He's the CryptoEconLab lead at CryptoEconLabs. Welcome to Liechtenstein and welcome to the House of Blockchain. Good to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, when we prepared, one question which is for sure obvious. How many times have you been confused with CX, Zero Knowledge Proof, or CC?
Oh, all the time.
So you're not CC.
ZX.
ZX. Yeah, that is happening. Yeah. As I said, thank you very much that you're here. One of the questions, because we want to learn more about the personalities behind blockchain, right? The idea of this channel is also to understand a little bit where people are coming from. What is your blockchain journey? What did you do before blockchain? So I want to learn more about your roadmap to blockchain and Liechtenstein. If you could share that.
Hi, I'm ZX. Thank you for having me. I live in Singapore. My journey to blockchain was, before I came to blockchain, I was doing my own startup in high school, machine learning, AI, and all that kind of stuff. And then when I was in university, I was studying a lot about...
So you grew up in Singapore?
Yeah, I grew up in Singapore. And then we studied about history of the internet and all that kind of stuff in the US. I went to college in the US.
Yeah.
And then there was one summer early on in the college career, I went to the Silicon Valley, and then we heard about people talking about blockchain, talking about wiring money, sending money on the internet, just like sending internet packet. Right,
Okay.
and then I was like, oh, this is transformational, and this is so interesting. So that's where I started going down the rabbit hole.
And when was that?
2016. I wish I bought more tokens then, but I was too excited about the technology.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, when you discover Bitcoin and then you go down the rabbit hole, and afterwards you think, shoot, I should have bought more.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, that's how I came into contact with crypto.
Yeah, and what did you study? Like you said, it had nothing specifically to do with technology.
So my degree was, I went to University of Pennsylvania, and my degree is called Network Systems and Social System Engineering. So it's a hybrid program that covers computer science, statistics, finance, a lot of game theory, network science too, like nodes and edges. And then at our university, we have lots of freedom to design our own curriculum. I took many just independent study on blockchain.
But there were already in 2016, there were studies?
Yes,
so it's classes?
Yeah, so a lot of the independent study would be you self-study, right? You propose something with a professor, hey, I'm interested in this topic. Here's what I'm going to deliver at the end of the semester. Is that a goal? And then professor, oh, that sounds great. And
cool.
Then,
And what was the first topic?
I don't remember exactly, but I remember now. So I think in our sophomore year, we actually did interoperability between blockchains. So we actually built something, and then that is actually part of Hyperledger, and then it's being open source, being used by many of the big companies of the world. But that's more on the enterprise side. But then there are also other stuff that we just explore more on the permissionless side, and then building smart contract or building a P2P layer for Ethereum.
Okay, nice. And then you went back to Singapore?
Yeah, so after college, I started working at CryptoEconLabs.
So directly after college?
That's right, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. And now you are the head of the CryptoEconLab. What is the CryptoEconLab?
Oh yeah, so let me tell you a bit more about how I got into doing CryptoEcon, what CryptoEcon even is. So I think around 2017, where I've come across lots of projects back then, and then you realize people can tell you all these amazing things that blockchain can do, all this distributed network can do, but a very big missing piece really is how do you design the system, right? How do you make sure everybody's incentive aligned, and then so on and so forth, and how do you what are different forces, different dynamics, what kind of user interaction in the network. And a big part of that really is just designing the economics, right? And then I came across a mentor and collaborator at Block Science, and all the different people in the Ethereum Foundation. They really helped me a lot throughout the journey as well, where we realized, hey, it's nothing really crazy, right? You can actually use many of the traditional engineering and science in math, physics, finance, actually design a system. So that's kind of where I got started in doing research on engineering blockchain systems. And then from there, we actually started building this discipline called cryptoeconomics. So we led the team to design think about economic design for Filecoin, and then after we launched Filecoin with CryptoEconLab, we realized, hey, there are a ton of applications with designing network, designing tokens. So then can we build out the discipline, build out the industry around engineering economics in a much more rigorous and then responsible way. So the vision for CryptoEconLab, and I think of it this way, it's more of in some sense, we are building lots of new technology, but the technology needs adoption, right? There's many different angles, right? There's a social element, regulatory element, there's a technology element, market element, right? But how can we use incentive as a force and a lever using market-driven approaches to really cross the innovation chasm? So that's kind of the vision for my team. Our team really is about crossing the innovation chasm for blockchain technology through mechanism design, incentive, and so on.
And how big is your team then?
So right now within CryptoEconLab, about 12, 15 people.
Okay, working on that full-time?
Yeah, full-time.
Okay, interesting, very, very interesting. Is there also a crypto law lab at CryptoEconLabs?
Well, maybe.
I have to get in touch with these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. If there's none, let's start one.
Because I think the combination with blockchain and law, obviously for us, it's very crucial here in Liechtenstein. We put a lot of efforts in building the bridge between technology and law. Yeah. And I think that would make a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how does your average day look like? You're more of a morning person or the late night coder, or?
I'm more of a round the clock person.
Around the clock, okay.
I think the beauty of blockchain as industry really is globally distributed, and people are so passionate about the technology and what it can enable. And then you have collaborators just all around the world, and then that makes time zone is a blurring thing, right? So people just whenever you are I guess not doing anything productive, then might as well do some useful thing.
True, but it's also very exhausting, is it? I mean, you're very young. I'm 41 now, but for me, it's already. I think it's an interesting pace this industry has.
Yeah, and I think it's lifelong learning too, in a sense, right? There's always people. I think outside of Web3, they. I think things within Web3 just happen in such a fast pace. Sometimes people might not just have very different perspective on time as well. Yeah, and
you have to be very open-minded on the one hand, and on the other hand, you have to have the will to even if you have a very explored path of how you do things, that there might be something which happens within a minute, and this will completely change the way how you approach things or how you have to approach things. So you have to constantly amend yourself and amend how the way how you deal with challenges. And I think that is a very big challenge, but that is also the reason why this ecosystem is so evolving so fast, and it's developing even on a daily basis better and better solutions, right?
Absolutely.
It's and that is actually very interesting, this approach with sprints, that you develop something, try it, then rearrange, do it again, right? Yes. This is how you develop software, and this is how we develop that ecosystem, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's also that unique to us either, right? I feel for any successful industry, that usually is the recipe, right? Innovating and always finding product market fit, and also getting feedback loop with customer, with users, and then iterating on that.
So ZX, you work, I know that CryptoEconLabs is a very innovative company, and you develop a lot of groundbreaking technologies as far as I can tell. And we don't want to talk only about directly what CryptoEconLabs is offering. do you have a specific message when it comes to blockchain? What should we have specifically a look at, or what is very interesting? What are key developments which crosses your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I guess the key message really is build the future that you want to see, right? So I think there are a ton of amazing technological development in the Web3 space, but sometimes when people from the outside we look at it as a big umbrella term, right? Like everything is Web3, everything is crypto. We think of everything to be the same thing, right? But the reality is very different, right? The reality is you have maybe 1,001 different things that all consider themselves part of the Web3 crypto ecosystem, right? And
not every exchange is safe because it is a crypto exchange. It has nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
That's a misconception of a lot of people. They think, now I'm using blockchain technology because I buy token A, B, or C at whatever exchange, and then they think the exchange is safe, which has nothing to do. It's a central intermediary with almost no regulation in most cases and no guarantees, nothing, right?
That's right. But I think that's a big misconception is if people think of it a big umbrella term to cover everything, but that's not the case. And really it's about piercing through what you see on the surface and then really look at what kind of technology people are developing, right? For example, consensus technology, really scaling this kind of globally distributed consensus so that you can process many different kinds of application and transactions, right? There's also lots of cryptography, right? The zero knowledge stuff privacy, ownership, all that kind of technology around research around it, right? There's also a lot about can we do communication networking better in the peer-to-peer space? And then that's this kind of where we come in too. It's just how can we design incentive rules or systems such that we can put the technology to good use. So I remember a few years ago, before I was deciding between going to a hedge fund or joining crypto full time, right? All my friends will work at hedge fund, right?
Did you? Are you happy with your choice?
Oh, absolutely. But I think the idea is that the big question then is I'm sure many people will have the same question in their mind, which is where is this industry heading? Right? Where do you have the product market fit? And what would be a good killer use case? And this is a very valid question people will ask, right? But then after a while, I keep on asking myself the question for months, right? When you were final year in school. And then what I realized is actually nobody can give you an answer, right? It's if you believe in the technology and the ethos, right? It's about actually building the world that you want to see. And then this industry, so we're so fortunate to be in this industry in the sense that you have lots of very empowering technology, empowering business model, right? To really bring in people and then to really give power and leverage to individuals to really build a bright future.
And as you said, there's a lot of misconception and it's complicated, it's complex, right? It's not that easy to understand. For a lot of people, that is what actually I am told a lot. It's so it's, as you said, it's this very complex thing you try to understand, and then you reach or you come to a point where you have some idea how a blockchain works, right? And then people will talk about completely different stuff, right? Web3, identities, decentralized storage, different protocols, how to interact with each other, decentralized exchanges, the difference between a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges we have as an industry, that it's a complex world.
Yeah.
And it brings, on the one hand, it gives the power back to the people directly.
Yeah.
But it comes with a demand or a need for education. You have to you have to educate yourself. You have to learn how to use these technologies yourself. And I think that's always a trade-off. The easier to you make systems and technologies to use, right? In a lot of cases, the trade-off is that you lose security. And I think that is one of the areas where I hope we will see a lot of improvements.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the reality is the real world is complex.
Yeah, true.
Right? Society is complex, right? Humans are complex, right? And I think I mean, of course, in this space, there's no shortage of people like creating all sort of concept to like sometimes like confuse people. But at the same time, like we are touching something pretty fundamental here, right? Something pretty fundamental to like how we communicate, how we collaborate, and then like how like organization, different things can form, and how like new interaction patterns can emerge, right? I feel like sometimes humans have a tendency to get very used to things that just work maybe like in the last few decades, and then we thought, oh, maybe like that's just how the world works. But then like if you zoom out and you look at like how like finance first emerged, right? Like it's because of people want to do something new. Back then maybe it's for like exploration, right? Like it's like very it's not even complex, it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? Like so how can we reason about all this like risk and all that kind of stuff? And then finance like emerged as like industry, as like a discipline and so on, right? So very similarly, right? Because of that's why like it's not just about it has to do a lot with the technology, right? It's because the technology is providing something fundamental and orthogonal to like what we can currently do today. Then people are now experimenting. Oh, what can we do? What about this? What about that? And that's just a kind of part. That's just like a part of like human evolution.
I'm asked quite a lot of times in my private life, people ask me some specific questions about blockchain and these technologies, and most of them are very like it's from the bird's eye view. They want to have a basic understanding, or they want to have one or two specific questions. And what I always think then is like, guys, please read one or two books, right? Get educated, learn more, because whatever I tell you is just like it's too less to understand. If it's the starting point, that's nice, right? But I think education is really key. And if a friend would ask you, like, what are the terms you should search through the internet or watch videos and educate yourself more about? We already touched on what is a zero knowledge proof, what is a trustless technology, right? What are the terms besides blockchain you would recommend a very good friend of yours to get educated about?
So I think here's how I think about this. It's like the best way to kind of like share knowledge and information really is to understand like where your friend or where the other person's where their understanding is coming from, right? Are they more of a finance person? Are they more of like an engineering person or like a tech person? Are they like what is meet them at that? It's basically like figure out where the level is, and then like I feel like Web3 covers almost everything, and then you can always find an element, right? Like and then say, hey, this is the most directly relevant to
your professional,
your current background and experience, and that makes it much easier for people to come on board and understand. And then I feel like it also takes a specific profile of people to be like really passionate about this industry, right? You have to be very curious, right? Like you like to see the world from the first principle manner, right? Like you think about what if? You're very curious, very driven, right? There's a lot to learn and a lot of concept. And in some sense, you want the person to feel like, it's a journey of discovery. Yeah. And then they can go on and then figure out different kinds of content and then like explore the ecosystem.
If I'm your hairdresser and I ask you, ZX, I heard about this blockchain stuff. What should I read? What should I do? I want to learn more.
So maybe like, I think then you throw back the question and say, what about blockchain? What have you heard about blockchain so far, and which aspect interests you the most, right?
Yeah. Okay, and then I would tell people are telling me that it's more than cryptocurrencies. It's something where you can do a lot of stuff. You can tokenize stuff. You can interact with people. But that is actually makes a lot of sense. I tried to do that as well to ask them where they are coming from. But for me, it's sometimes really frustrating because you have like maybe half an hour, and then you try to get where they are coming from and give them one or two pieces of information, and then they can actually try to learn more. For me, is there any specific book you would recommend or any online course you would recommend?
Yeah, I think there are many books. I think some of the Bitcoin community have published lots of books around like just the Bitcoin technology itself, but they might get very deep and technical, right? But now sometimes I would also recommend books around like history of finance.
Yeah.
Like there's this book called A Zen of Money to just talk about why do we have money in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be and also talk learning about trade and how trade has transformed the world. Just like these are the financial history side of books, right? Then there's also books around game theory and economics and like networks, right? Then there's a big genre of like popular economics too, right? I think there's very strong connection to the Web3 ethos and what we're doing in Web3.
So it's not true that these new tech guys or tech individuals are not learning from the history. We are.
Yeah.
We know how finance works. It's just that we learn from the past, but then develop technologies, how we could do things in a different way, make them more efficient, more easy to use, more safe, more secure.
Yeah, exactly, more privacy.
Yeah, more privacy, which is actually another big topic. I think the privacy discussion is only about that we have to get rid of this privacy when it comes from a regulatory perspective, because they're afraid that you finance terrorism with it, or you do money laundering or support money laundering. But what is really very problematic, I think, it's very challenging to raise the legitimate need for privacy, right? Because if I interact with these technologies, depending on which technology I use, I expose a lot of information.
Yes.
And I think it's keen to have a discussion there as well, that you should be able to protect the privacy. And I think that is something, Europe is quite ahead when it comes to privacy with the GDPR already, right? But I think we have to do more, and we have to find a balanced approach. Yeah. For sure, nobody I think everybody agrees on that we don't want to support like financing of terrorism or money laundering. For sure not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the other hand, we also have to be able to keep our privacy if we want to.
Absolutely.
So you're now here in Liechtenstein. What are your first impressions? Is this your first time in Liechtenstein?
Yeah, my first time. Yeah.
The first time. What are your first impressions?
Oh, it's great. The schnitzel is amazing.
The schnitzel, okay. So you already had schnitzel.
Yeah,
nice.
So good. And then like I can totally see myself living here.
Nice. You visited the castle or the mountains already?
We not yet, but we've been to like some of the Swiss mountains nearby.
Yeah. Have you visited the Zug ecosystem also? The Crypto Valley ecosystem in Zug and Zurich?
Not yet. I haven't been to Zug yet, but that's on my bucket list. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's on the plan. Nice. And have you heard of Liechtenstein before? Like, did you ever come across Liechtenstein before you had contact with us because of CryptoEconLabs?
I might have seen the name on some textbook, but then like I might just may not have. I remember it's a very small country, and then that's about it. But I think like coming here really gave me lots of perspective about the people, the nature, and then like people's culture, and then and I think especially the progressive view around like, how can we do things in a compliant way that really respect all the principles of regulation, but at the same time really encourage innovation and so on.
Yeah, I think that is one of the key pillars of the strategy of the innovation we have here in Liechtenstein, that we want to support it with a regulatory approach, but it's not the only thing. It needs more. It's actually building ecosystems, right? And that's we are very happy to have you guys here. You were very supportive also at our token summit, which we had for the first time in October. And actually your swag was a lot of people loved your swag. Nice. So we hope to have you in Liechtenstein next year as well.
Yeah, we'd love to be here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I already heard that you are going to support us next year already. Yep. So yes. That's nice. No, perfect. One final question. I asked it for everybody. You already drink your espresso here, but I was sometimes already in Singapore, but I was in Singapore the last time for the Singapore FinTech Festival, and there I had the opportunity to enjoy amazing coffee. You are from Singapore. First of all, what is your favorite coffee shop in Singapore, if you have one?
I actually don't have one, but I drink a lot of coffee. I think I just love coffee in general. Yeah.
And what is your favorite type of coffee? Is it filter or espresso or cold brew, cold drip, or?
I like the cold brew, and then like just easy drinking. And then,
Are you a sweet person? Do you like the?
No, I'm like a black person.
Black person. Okay. It was really good to have that talk with you. I'm really looking forward to see you more often here in Liechtenstein, and that you are an active and lively part of the ecosystem here. And thank you very much again. I enjoyed the discussion and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.